the big news today was that CeeDee Lamb got a huge freaking contract extension from the Cowboys just 2 weeks before the season started. 4 years, 136 million, 100 million guaranteed. How far across the room do you think Brandon Aiyuk threw his phone when he read the update?
Yeah, I'm sure he's not happy about it, but mainly I think it's the timing. Like seeing CeeDee Lamb get extended before him when Jerry Jones came out and was like, I have no interest in extending CeeDee Lamb right now. We're not going to worry about it right now. We'll deal with it later. So Jerry Jones says, we'll deal with it later. Well, later is now, and it's done. And BA's been trying to get it done for a long time. That's got to be aggravating. As far as like the dollar amounts, I'm not so sure BA should worry too much about that, to be real, right?
Like, you're not CeeDee Lamb. You're not Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, I believe, caught 130 plus passes on the team for the Cowboys last year, whereas Brandon Aiyuk's 75. So quite a bit of different in usage there. He's not CeeDee Lamb. He shouldn't expect CeeDee Lamb type money, but it's got to be frustrating seeing CeeDee Lamb extended, getting his payday, 100 million guaranteed, and he's still on standby.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everyone from Aiyuk's draft class who's in line for an extension, or anyone who's like, this is the year to be extended before they become a free agent. I know Jamar Chase could be extended, but there's like 2 more years left on his deal. Everyone's gotten their deal done except for Aiyuk. Every single one. And if I were him, I don't know, maybe I would think about, what is my agent doing? Like, dude, you're John Lynch's agent too, and mine, and I somehow am the one guy who can't get a freaking deal done. Like, I'd be mad at my agent. Maybe he knows more than I do, but it feels like Aiyuk had to take so much into his own hands this offseason. It didn't necessarily work, and he's the one guy that didn't get paid. I'd be so frustrated if I were him. But you know what? It's not my problem. I'm having a great day. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing fantastic. No, I think for the thing is, man, like it's a different situation with Brandon Aiyuk, and I've been saying this all offseason, and I think people, hopefully, you see it by now. It's a weird, contentious relationship. I was texted the word nasty this past season. Some of these negotiations, these meetings have been nasty, is the word that was texted to me between Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers. Here's the thing, man. I think Brandon Aiyuk is in the territory now where the 49ers are questioning, yes, he's a good player, but do we really want to commit to somebody who's negotiated this way over this offseason? I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to get done. I think this last week I was like 60-40. It's going to get done. I think I'm closer to 50-50 at this moment. I'm not sure if this is going to play out.
Yeah, I just feel like CeeDee Lamb's agent, whoever that is, did a better job. He was like, CeeDee, be quiet. I'll handle it. And CeeDee was like, I trust you. And it worked out. They got all the money they wanted. Whereas Brandon Aiyuk wasn't quiet, and the agent didn't do anything to make him look better and hasn't gotten the money. So that's their problem. Does this now make it more or less likely for the Niners to be able to strike a deal with Brandon Aiyuk? I mean, did the market just go up again?
I don't think it went up for Brandon. I really don't. I think the market is still the same for Brandon Aiyuk. I don't think it changes much. I still feel 50-50 on it. We saw Brandon Aiyuk at the game on Friday, and I was told that he was forced to go. They were like, you have to go or you're going to get fined.
I mean, Kyle essentially said that after the game, right? He's like, that's what we make our players who are healthy do.
Right. That's the thing. Right? You're just injured. You're not holding out. You're not holding in. You're injured. Your back hurts. So you're going to be with the team like everybody else. He shows up in all black, no Niners gear. This has been very contentious. And I don't even know if it's at a point right now. Like, it feels like it's getting to a point where it's almost unrepairable. Maybe that's not the case, but it's starting to feel that way.
Yeah, with the Debo thing 2 years ago, it got contentious, but it never seemed like it got contentious between Debo and Kyle. They seemed like they were on the same team side, page, whatever metaphor you want to use. But with Kyle and it seems like the issue is not between Aiyuk and Lynch or Aiyuk and Parag or Aiyuk and Jed. I mean, I don't have evidence, but it seems like the issue is between Aiyuk and Kyle. And we've known that they've had an issue. I mean, Kyle has been giving him tough love for years in ways he never gave Debo tough love. And we don't really understand why Kyle felt that was appropriate for Brandon and not Debo, but Ayuk seems to have resented it. And now it seems like he wants retribution or something. And Kyle's unwilling to give it in the way that Ayuk wants it. And they got a huge standoff. And if I know Kyle Shanahan the way I think I do, he's not going to back down. And it seems like Brandon won't either, which is very interesting. So how do you think this is going to play out?
Again, man, I feel 50-50 about it. Anything can change. I mean, that's the good thing. Anything can change. They could all of a sudden come to the realization that they need each other and work this whole thing out tomorrow. That's a possibility. Or they can continue being stubborn. I talked about it on my show on Sunday. It's almost like, those old comic strips, the satire comic strips, where it's two Cowboys, not Dallas Cowboys, actual Cowboys. You got Kyle Shanahan as a Cowboy, Brandon Aiyuk as a Cowboy, and they're in a standoff. Brandon Aiyuk's got a pin in his holster. Kyle Shanahan has a phone in his holster. And who's going to draw first? Is BA going to draw and sign his contract, or is Kyle Shanahan going to draw his phone out and call a team and get Brandon Aiyuk out of here? They're both in a very stubborn people. And I think this goes the base, the root of this problem, I think, is that Brandon Aiyuk does not respond well to Kyle Shanahan's coaching style. And I don't think Kyle adjusts his coaching style for his players. And I think whatever he was trying to accomplish with the whole doghouse thing, there was probably a better way that didn't damage the relationship that Kyle could have utilized in order to get the same result that he got from putting him in the doghouse. That's where this started.
I mean, he kind of put him in the doghouse in the Super Bowl again, too. I mean, you were on the field, but you weren't targeted. You were back to like running clear out routes and hustling and blocking like you're a freaking rookie. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like those two have a not so good relationship. And they're both two of the more stubborn people that I know. I couldn't tell you which one's more stubborn. I mean, God.
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up. So to me, that's why I keep saying, like, I don't think they're going to work this out. I think they're going to get traded. And I know that people talking to the Niners, probably the Niners are privately projecting confidence that it's all going to work out until it doesn't. And they trade him like with 2 days before the season, because I think it's important for them to make it seem to their fans that they made a really strong effort to bring back Aiyuk. But I think the entire time they knew what it would take to bring him back, and they kept offering a little bit less than it would take. Just so they could say, we tried, he's unreasonable, when really, like, I just don't think Kyle wants that relationship anymore as much as, because look, if he were to keep Aiyuk long-term, they'd have to get rid of Debo in like a year. And I don't think Kyle wants to make that trade.
Well, there's a couple of problems, right? Like the way BA handled himself on social media this offseason, and who knows, his agent probably told him not to. It's not like his agent said that that's okay, right? Like, so that's a problem. Like, you go pay this guy, guarantee him, $80 million or whatever it is, $30 million a year. Is he going to conduct himself like he has this past offseason in the future if he's not getting targets, things like that? So that makes you question whether you should do it. What's working on the favor of the fans, I guess, because I don't see any way that the 49ers walk away from this with a W. I mean, if you consider Brandon Aiyuk being on the team, that's a win, I guess, but they're going to overpay him or pay him more than they wanted to. And if they trade him, they're not going to get anything back that's going to justify the trade. So it feels like a win-win situation for BA either way. And it feels like a lose-lose situation for the 49ers outside of getting him on the team. That would be a W for in that regard, but they're going to be paying way more than they wanted to pay for Brandon.
The W could be not overpaying a number 2 receiver. Sorry, Aiyuk. The W could be you get some picks back, and then you flip those picks to another team before the deadline for a good player, maybe a D end or a D lineman. That could be the W. But yeah, it's looking like the Niners bungled this one and took way too long.